All right, my position for the debate is Giyuu probably wins.
Okay, my position would be that I think that Gyomei wins is based off of what Shonen inherited.
Okay.
So, so what's your feeling for you?
Okay, so I'll start off with here. Okay, so my line of reasoning is going to be contingent upon, well, let's say if it was the case that Gyu was going to be above Gyomei, what type of language would we see to describe them? Well, we have statements that say that his deeds there were second to none. Now, that analytically does suggest the idea that he would be above Gyomei, but I also have other types of justification. We also see that he's able to outclass people who narratively have emphasis on their speed and high speed, and that's not really associated with other characters. When they perform in combat. So that type of thing, suggests that this person is probably faster than another. So if it is the case that I'm justified in those type of beliefs, given the type of motivation uh, in the scans, then it is the case that my character is more probably going to beat yours. So I'll get.
Could you show these instances you're talking about, please?
Okay, I'll show you the two scans. I'm not gonna lie, I added a bunch of shit in there just so I could buy time to find scans, but it's fine. Here says here, the Giyuu scan. Where does it say? These are second to none. Yeah, and I think we also have narrative implications of Demon Tanjiro. Well, I'll just get into other scaling like that. Here's one statement right there. Then I'll get into the Akaza and him like performing on Akaza, and then that was the justification for like the high speed correlation. Like he's already shown to surpass people with higher narrative implication or assertion on their speed or emphasis, which is expected in the scenario where these types of characters are true. Well, it would be specifically stated. Otherwise, there wouldn't be any type of difference there. But here, let me get the fucking scan. Here's the Muzan stuff. Here's the here's the Akaza stuff. And then I sent it in VC chat, by the way. And then
also,
I don't grant. Also, Akaza has speed feats on Doma too. Oh wait, no, I don't even know if I want to make definitively.
It says his deeds are second to none. Okay, that doesn't mean anything. Like, what the fuck?
What do you mean? It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, his deeds are second to none. That doesn't mean anything. That just means that he's done his job. That's cool. That doesn't imply any type of skilling. What's the second
I already
scale?
explained how it does. Like, okay,
Yeah,
so
you're saying that them invoking the term second to none means that what? What was that? What was that
no,
supposed to
it
mean?
can. No, it's just saying when they say his deeds are second to none, this can directly be the proof of my hypothesis, as well as it can be directly proof of another thing. I'm just using the fact that this type of text suggests my type of hypothesis, given the language. So giving like emphasis on his deeds, and I'm saying his deeds during the Kibutsuji thing was like he was dealing with demons on like in combat. So like if his deeds are second to none, then his combat skills, stuff like that, those are deeds for the demon, like for the demon slayer. Shit like that would be second to none. So like performatively, he should be higher. And then also have like I already gave like narrative implication, right? And narrative assertion to support the type of evidence that I have. Giving like likelihood.
All right, yeah. So it says in the fight to destroy his deeds are second to none. All that means that, realistically speaking, at face value and within the context of the fight, this means that during his fight, he did his job. That's cool. We know that he also had outside help with other people fighting with him. That doesn't really necessarily skill. The fact the second skin I see about is DKT. DKT has zero scaling. Uh, it's based upon the fact that even when Yushiro stated that, what's it called? He surpassed Nezuko and moved on. Quite literally, right after that, she says, "Yeah, I'm not serious. I'm just joking."
Okay, so
So
we can get
that's
into the
a different
second.
skill.
Wait,
And
chill.
then,
We get into the wait. Chill. I'm not going to remember the first stuff. So the first point, you said something about when you take it at face value, the conclusion that you would reach doesn't fall towards my hypothesis. I don't really take it that way. And it depends on what you mean by like face value. Because if we're taking face value grammatically, then deeds would be like accomplishments. So like if we're just talking about his deeds during that, like, I guess we could say killing demons or anything is just better than Gyomei, and Gyomei has the same type of goal or just like being more efficient. That's expected under a scenario where my character is stronger than yours. So it is something that suggests my hypothesis. So
Okay.
I don't really see
So,
how what you're talking
all
about
right,
face.
all right, all right.
Wait, chill, chill, chill,
So,
chill, chill, chill. And then for the second point, I'm going to need you to repeat what it was that you asserted, because I
okay,
think you kind of
I'll
just
repeat it. I'll
your
repeat
own
after I
like
say the first thing. So,
parameters, what face
all right.
value is.
Yeah. I'll tell you after I tell you the first thing. So, first thing when I
Also,
say face value, I
hold on,
mean
wait, chill,
basically.
chill, 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 chill. Also, I don't like how you keep on saying all this means is X or all this means is Y. That's pretty circular. You can keep it like, unless you're just
No, that's
giving
not too
emphasis.
blurry. I'm
Oh,
just
wait,
showcasing my interpretation.
dude, wait. No, I know, yeah, but you can say like I'm giving my interpretation. But if you say this is the only thing, that's a
The
different type of.
way, all right, look, the way that I'm invoking the terms of the matter, as long as the point is just that this is how my interpretation
No,
is.
because it's
Right?
gonna be really
So all I'm
confusing.
saying, look, you don't have to interpret it like so hyper literally. Just know that I'm just trying to explain my interpretation, bro. It's not that hard to understand.
Okay,
So
I'm just
look,
saying
the
future
word deeds. Okay. Look, the word deeds, like, bro, all it means to do is it's an action or
accomplishment.
something like that that's performed intentionally or consciously. That
No,
isn't
that's not a
really
deep. No, it's
that is what deed means.
no. Here, I'm gonna show you.
Definitionally, that's what deed means. It means an action performed consciously. That does not imply any type of feeling at all,
Oh
right? And
wait,
then the
yo, wait,
second
oh
thing I
yeah, okay. So
said,
if we're going, yeah. So
the
by the
second
main
thing I said,
definition that
wait, you wanted me to repeat the second thing for you? Do you want me to repeat the second thing for you or not? You keep cutting me off. I give you the courtesy to speak, but every time I start trying to speak, then you want to start cutting me
my bad,
off.
my bad,
So
my
let me
bad.
speak.
But I just want you
What
to
I'm
actually
saying, so the
argue that
second
this thing
thing,
it doesn't mean
bro.
anything because I
The
already
second,
explained my
look, you
definition.
can give your contention after I'm done speaking. All right.
Okay.
So look, the second thing that I said, just for reference, because I'm being nice and repeating it for you. I don't have to repeat it. But the second thing I said was just that you're trying to back this up with feasible DKT, right? I say DKT is one thing. I don't think DKT has any skilling whatsoever. And I said the basis for this is just the fact that when Yushiro basically talks to Tandro after he takes a serum, he's no longer DKT. She says that he surpassed and moves on to Nezuko, but then the panel right afterwards, he's just like, "Yeah, I'm joking. Do not take anything I'm saying seriously." So if that's true, then I would have no reason to say that DKT has any scaling at this
Wait.
time.
So you said. Wait. So you said somebody there was a demon King Tanjiro scene. Actually, no. We could get to the first point and then we'll get into like the second stuff. So the first. So what was your reasoning as to why analytically what I'm saying isn't suggested or isn't just like isn't one with the analytics or doesn't isn't suggested by the analytics? Sorry.
Okay, yeah. All I said was that deed. It just means to perform an action with intentions or
Yeah,
consciously.
but in
I
context,
know that he's a demon slayer, but I'm just saying that all this statement would imply or just show so far is just that he is second to none at doing his job. Right, his job could have been, oh, let's fight Lower Moon 4, right? Then cut off his head. That's cool. So that doesn't really matter at all, right?
wait, hold on,
But then the
listen.
feature showing to back it up,
All right,
I don't
stop,
think
stop,
he's
stop. I'm
skill either.
understanding, but you're just getting onto like multiple lines of reasoning. Okay. So the first contention that I have is like all you keep on saying is that, well, this can suggest other things, but you're not really conclusively pointing out as to why there's some type of contradiction or like how I'm going outside of like what the term is, especially what the term implies given the context. We see that the statement itself says during during the Kibutsushi mission or whatever, his deeds were second to none. Now we know that deeds pertaining to like demon slayers in this time can correlate to like fights, physical actions. So like let's say if he's fighting Akaza and Akaza has gotten stronger, so much stronger than Doma at this point. And that could be like in Doma, and that could be like a better feat than what Gyomei has, you know, like that could be something that potentially is above Gyomei, you know. So when I have these types of this type of information or like data, that's observable, I can make the type of, inference, because it is the type of thing that, suggests my hypothesis. But again, as far as like not taking him serious or don't take anything, I'm saying seriously, whatever claim was said, I'd like to see the scan for that. As far as like the Tanjiro scaling, I do have types of justification for him being stronger. But even if it is the case that it's not conclusive, even if it says that it's not conclusive, I can still provide some type of plausibility or probability distribution, given the fact that statements of him being stronger and surpassing Muzan are something that's, been narratively evident. I'm not disagreeing with the possibility of some other, scan outside of like the current data that's observed existing that, could contradict my idea. But given what's observed, all we have, given the evidence here, is strong affirmations of Muzan being above anything. Demon King Tanjiro being above anything that's ever been shown. But we do have feats of Giyuu, at a later state reacting to this thing, which, given the current data, would be better showings than what Gyomei would have. And that is going to be something that suggests that he is stronger than Gyomei. So I can get to the other. So I can get those two scans. I can get the two scans about the Muzan stuff. I already sent the Giyuu stuff. You can. Okay.
All right, I'm gonna go
Okay,
on
you did
one
a
by
great job.
one,
You're
and
amazing.
then
Yeah. Okay. So wait. Listen. Yeah. Before you get to that scan, let me send my two scans, and then I'm going to contend the scan that you just sent. I understand what you're trying to argue. So not only do I not see motivation for this thing being correlated to the fight, there's multiple events that can take place after another. That's just how events in time place. It's directly expected under like a multitude of other hypotheses that he would say this at like a different time, given the fact that the conversation is happening this way in like a hospital room or something like that. And he said you did a great job. He could just be referencing that or some other prior manga chapter. And I'm equally as justified in that type of okay. So yeah, it can be right after he recovered, right? He can make a joke like, "Oh, you did a great job," and that could be indexed to something he perceived to moves on. That could be indexed to a multitude of other things. So that's not really motivation for the hypothesis of Gyomei being above Giyuu, but we do have motivation for Giyuu being above Gyomei. So I'm gonna get to the other scans. And if people on the rec, you decided to type.
yeah, because if I were to interrupt, you would have said something. So I'll just say it for the rec. Basically, my contention for the argument so far is just that even if I were to so called even like grant this nigga's beat thing, right? We know that you just has help from fucking Tanjiro, and then he was not able to actually beat fucking Akaza. What's it called? Akaza was really whooping his ass. His compass was adapting to him. There's nothing that you could actually do. Once Tanjiro got see through world and was able to negate his compass, that is when they won the fight, right? So on top of that, basically his second argument is retarded because obviously this panel is subsequent to the panel prior to this one, which is just stating that yeah, during the fight, you were on the level. You suppressing Muzan and Nezuko. They wouldn't reference these demons if they were not talking about Demon King Kondro. So this guy's obviously a fucking troll, right? So we have these two
Sorry, my
things.
phone died.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll clarify for the right.
Well, I heard some of what you said. You started mentioning up equal. You tried to like equal interpret the Akaza fight or something like that. I'm just getting my charger so I can plug in my phone. Then we can get me sending. Well, you already know about the surpassing and strongest demon statements and moves. I don't even think I have to directly send you those. You would just
Yeah,
have an equal.
I
You would
think you
just
got
present.
more
You would just. Yeah.
demons.
Wait. Listen. Chill. 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 You would just have a different interpretation, right? Which is fine. I'm just using the fact that we given this language, it does suggest my type of hypothesis. It
No,
can suggest.
no,
It can still. Wait. No. It does analytically.
no, it doesn't.
No, strongest demon. Yeah, so when we talk about strongest analytically can refer to being the most powerful in the verse. It can refer to
But does it
being
do
having the
it
strongest demon
contextually?
generation. It can refer to having the best
Does it do it
regeneration. It could
contextually? Does it do it
huh?
contextually? Does it do it
Does it do it
contextually?
contextually?
No, I don't think
I'm
it
not
does.
making I'm not making the argument. I'm not making the argument deductively that contextually that it's specifically using my one of the definitions that exists on basically my definition that I'm proposing or my hypothesis. Right? I'm saying multiple other ones. You know, epistemically, I don't have any reason to say that they're impossible. But given the fact that we do have this term in this language, it still suggests my idea. You're not really suggesting it. You can provide different types
Yeah,
of
I can
interpretations, but
distinguish
it's not
the
defeating
argument. I
the
can
it's not
say that
defeating the
you
fact
also
that
can
we
distinguish in
have
language.
narrative support for the idea.
Yeah, you
Oh,
saying the
then
language involved the language that's invoking right here is justifies my hypothesis. That doesn't matter because I can say the same thing about my thing. I say, yeah, the language right
no, you
here,
can't.
it also implies and invokes my interpretation because of X, Y, and Z.
Mm,
That doesn't
yeah,
matter. The only thing that really matters is how does this thing actually scale? Because if Giyuu, right, is so-called second to none of his deeds, and he needs outside help to beat his opponents, yet the job or the objective of the Slayer is to beat upper moons or all the moons, and he can't do it by himself, where does it scale?
I don't
Right?
see any motivation. I don't
Accept
see any
everything you're
motivation to
saying.
believe that
Accept
in the
everything you're
encounters. Wait,
saying.
hold
It
on.
doesn't
Chill,
scale
chill, chill, chill,
anywhere.
chill, 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 chill. So in the encounters with Muzan, we see that Giyuu is using his water breathing, and then people are using Giyuu's counterattacks to, find openings to, hit Muzan. So if anything,
Muzan
it's like
fight, Muzan fight does not scale. Muzan fight does not
uh,
scale.
I mean, you
Muzan fight
can
does
you
not
can
scale.
think that, but again,
No,
as
I
far
have
as
an
the claim of
argument, and I have
wait,
an
chill, chill,
explanation
chill,
for
chill, chill.
why.
I know you gave an argument, but
No, I didn't give. I didn't give an argument for you.
I'm getting into what you said prior, right? So no, it is not the case. It is not the case that I have to deductively or definitively
Yeah, you
prove
just
that
cut
my
out. I don't know
interpretation
what
is
happened.
correct. Yeah, so I don't have to definitively prove that my interpretation is correct. That's
You
why
know you cut
I'm
out, so
arguing
I
for
have no idea what you said.
I'm arguing for plausibility and probability, not simply
Yeah,
a
I'm not
deduction.
dumb. I know you are. Obviously.
Okay. So you would understand that the type of parameters that you're assuming are just irrelevant,
No,
and
they're
you can't
not.
say the same, and you can't. Yeah. No, they are,
It
and then
matters
you
within
can't. Wait.
context,
Stop.
right?
Stop.
Because
Stop.
all
Stop.
these things
Stop.
you're
And you
saying
can't
could be
say this
true.
suggests Gyomei
You're
without
not
an
having
argument. I'm not
any.
just gonna
Everything you're
grant you
saying could be
suggesting.
true,
Wait. How
yet
does
none of
the
it actually
analytic
feels anywhere.
currently
This is
suggest
the point.
Gyomei is above Giyuu,
No, he's
given
not.
the
Because
prior data?
you haven't actually provided any real scaling for why he's there. You're just saying, well, he's
I've
second to none in deeds, right? But I'm saying that, well, if he's second to none in deeds, then I would just say that he's a role player because he has teammates and other people who help him fight,
yes.
right?
There's
If that's true, I don't think that when demons fight multiple people, it scales anywhere. So
honest.
if
Wait,
that's
there's no way
also
to wait.
true,
There's no way
I
for you to
think that,
justify. Wait,
hold on, I'm
stop,
not
stop,
done yet.
stop,
I'm
stop,
not done
stop.
yet.
There's
I'm
no,
not done yet.
no,
I'm
no,
not done
no,
yet.
no.
I'm not done yet. I'm
Wait,
not
there's
done
no
yet.
way to justify
I'm not
that
done yet. Yeah, I
the
can't just fight. I
possibility
can't.
doesn't exist
I can't
that I've
justify you didn't
justified
actually
everything
say.
that I've
I can
said. You're
justify you
making the
didn't
claim
answer
that it's
yet. I can
unjustified, but the
justify that you
analytics
actually
themselves
did.
right now could
But let me
suffice, and my
finish.
interpretation
But let
still
me
being the
finish so you
correct one.
understand.
So
If
go
let
ahead
me
and
finish so you
explain to me. Go
understand.
ahead and explain to me how
So
it's not
I'm trying
justified.
to. All right, yeah. Look, you want me? All right, since I explained to you, I got you. That's why I had to serve me to, so you can understand. Right. So what I'm saying is that when Giyuu fights or he's taking none of these, right? I always said he's a role player because we know that his major fights he needs help against Akaze. He needed help. He was not doing that alone, right? Against Muzan, he needed help. There were 15 niggas here fighting Muzan. That shit does not scale anywhere. In order for this shit to actually scale, because I can accept everything that you're saying, right? And it just won't scale because I don't think that multiple players fighting one demon scales anywhere. And based off of that, this doesn't get you anywhere. No, I'm used to go ahead and respond. There we go. We're getting
Yeah,
somewhere.
you're just presupposing parameters for scaling. I can easily just equal interpret it like, okay, well, Gyu is obviously fatigued, yet but he's still able to perform at a level that would be beyond any prior Muzan abilities or any like Hashira
You
formers of
wouldn't be
that.
able.
And then I could also stop.
You wouldn't be able to interpret that because
I was
that's
muted.
not shown.
I was muted.
It's
Chill
not
out.
shown in the series.
Chill out. Chill out.
It's
Chill
not shown in the
out.
series.
Chill out.
You
Chill
can't
out. Chill
interpret
out. I'm
anything
not
that's not
done.
shown in the series, bro.
Quince. Be courteous.
I'm
You
supposed to be
just
courteous.
muted me. You just muted me. You just muted me. You just muted me and got out what you need to say.
Yeah,
At least
because
let
you
me
were
get out
already
like
being
30
courteous
seconds.
anyway.
Okay,
I had to
okay.
give
So
my
can you mute
response.
yourself? Can you mute yourself though? That's all I'm asking so I can finish with my
You
point.
got it.
Okay. So I can easily say that there's this equal interpretation that exists, whereas well, Giyuu is still at the level that is above any type of Hashira. He was the main person in defending, hence the and it'd be in line with the nature of water breathing, and that was the type of causal sequence and stuff like that that explained the whole scenario. I don't even have to grant that because 15 people are fighting this demon that Giyuu doesn't scale to him. He could just be getting tired as time goes on,